Yo, what is going on? I'm Sweet Phil. Today in this video right here, I'm bringing you a Firewall Sorceress build. This is actually the build that I used in a previous video here where I did 100 Andariel runs, and this character absolutely slaughters Andariel. It's crazy that Firewall actually works so good. I think personally, probably for Andariel, Firewall is probably the best skill actually for farming her specifically. It might not be the best to use in other locations necessarily, but strictly for Andariel, Firewall absolutely wrecks. So make sure you check that video out if you want to see exactly what you can do with this sorceress in full and this kind of stuff you can find running Andariel. At the end of this video, I will show you also exactly kind of what it can do if you don't want to go check out that video, but that's a very entertaining video. I'll put a link in the description and probably stick a card up here that you can go check that out. So we'll go ahead and jump into this build here now, and we'll start off with the stats. It's always where I start off at. And the stats here, I put 156 base stat points into strength. That gives away one of the items I'm going to be using. It is the Spirit Monarch, and after the other stuff bumps it up to 217. But I put the base 156 in order to get the items on there. Here, the dexterity I had up to 75. Because of one of the items I'm using, I needed a high dexterity kind of to use it. 75 isn't crazy high, but I got up to 75. So that's why that one's up there. I dumped here, I got 304 into vitality, and I didn't put any into energy. There's a base 35 you start off with a sorcerer, so it's essentially a max vita build with points into strength to wear the gear and into dexterity to wear your gear. You can see these resistances, they're looking a-okay down here. We'll go ahead and look at the skill tree. Start off at the cold skill. I just put 1 point into frozen armor. It's just a good skill that you put 1 point into just to boost up your defense a little bit. And then any plus to skills gear will boost that up. You can see this is all the way up to number 11. With that 1 skill point into it, we'll jump to lightning here. And here I just put 1 into charge bolt, 1 into lightning here, 1 into chain lightning to get down to energy shield. And I got maxed out telekinesis, and I maxed out energy shield. Obviously wanted to teleport. You gotta have teleport, but energy shield, it's right behind me here. But down at the bottom, you can see it says energy, and then it's just behind me. We'll go ahead and jump over to the left actually so you can see that better. Energy shield gets a bonus from telekinesis, and it's actually a very good bonus that will add to the amount that it absorbs into mana. So you max out this at energy shield, and then maxed out telekinesis to add to that synergy, and actually crazy amount of survivability that it adds to this. So that's kind of the next skill that you attack with. The Firewall doesn't need a ton of points to make it super strong. So that's why I decided to go this way over here with that. Now we'll look at what we're talking about now. The Firewall, this is where you're actually dealing your damage. So Inferno and Blaze, you put 1 point just to get down to Firewall. Max out Firewall, and you see down at the bottom where Firewall receives bonuses from 4% from Warmth and 1% from Inferno. Now, technically, you could put points into Inferno to boost that up, but it's just 1% just decided that that wasn't enough to really warrant putting all them points into it. But you got 20 into Fire Mastery down here, adding 240% to the fire damage, and maxed out Warmth up here, which adds 4% per skill level there. So I think that adds a ton there. You can see I have 14,000, and it's almost the minimum maximum is almost identical here. 14,245 to 14,386 per second, and that absolutely wrecks Andariel. On players 1, she drops almost instantly with 1 Firewall. In that video that I did, I was running on player 7. It took a second or 2, but yeah, that's almost no time. It's absolutely crazy. But we'll go ahead and jump to the gear now then. And with this particular character, I decided not to go necessarily max magic find, not to go max damage. I actually went max faster cast rate with this. So I got to the 200% faster cast rate breakpoint. I did this figuring that it would be more valuable to teleport down to Andariel faster. I'm already killing her so fast with Firewall. Whether I shave a quarter of a second off the kill speed is not going to be that crazy to me. And also I found a different way to get a bunch of magic find for me. And you can see it's all these charms down here. Usually I don't start off with the charms, but I got Geeds, and I have all completely full of 7s and 6s. I don't have all in apparently 5s here too to get some more mana and some resistances here. I do have a Torch and Annie, So this is on my single player, by the way, so I can get those a little bit easier than online. Don't have to sell 100 SOJs. So, and you notice I do not have any Tomb of Town portals in here because I specifically used this character for farming Andariel for the video. So I didn't ever teleport back. I went down there, took out Andariel, saved an exit, came out. So I just got the tombs here. You could put town portals in one of the slots in the belt. I do that a lot. You can just put 4 town portals in here since, you know, people don't generally use town portals constantly all the time. And I put any items in the cube, then I DM, throw them out. That's why I can save space that way. I do want to mention real quick, which I just realized I forgot. You can definitely put 1 point into static. I did not need it for this specific build doing this specific task. But if I had a character that I was building and using for a while, you know, for a few weeks or a few months, farming different areas, and this was the build I was going with forever, I would absolutely put 1 point into static. It's definitely worth it for sure. And this character is level 95, so that's how I could max this stuff out. If your character is going to be lower, you're going to want to do Firewall and do Fire Mastery. Probably max those first, and then come up to Warmth. And you can get Warmth really high. And then you probably don't necessarily want to max out Telekinesis. Telekinesis is probably the last one you want to max out, to be honest, on that front. So we'll take a look at the rest of the gear here. Take a look at the full everything. I went with the Wizard Spike because I needed that 50% faster cast rate. There is the Suicide Branch, but because this is the main item that I'm using for casting and I'm doing Energy Shield, I wanted that 192 to mana, the mana regen, and the huge 75 to all resistance, so that caps out my resistances real nice. Over on the shield, I got a Spirit Monarch, a 35 FCR one, so that makes me reach the breakpoint exactly where I need to get with the other stuff. Up on the top here, I needed the faster cast rate, so even though the minus to enemy lightning res does not help this build out literally at all, I went with the Griffin's Eye here because I get the 1-all skills and the faster cast rate. I pretty much just needed that faster cast rate. If you had a really, really, really godly awesome, like 2 to Sorceress skills, 20 FCR, rare amulet, you could throw that in here if it turned out better for you. I could not find one, and then you could swap around once we get down to some of the other stuff to get to 200 faster cast rate. For any fire build, you have to go Mage Fist, 1 to fire skills with the 20 faster cast rate. Pretty generic right there and pretty obvious. I got some more traps over here to get more magic find. Pretty obvious option for Sorceress as well, especially when you're magic finding. Arachnid's Mesh, mandatory also for this 200 FCR build. You could go with the lower, faster cast rate build that would just be 105, but I decided I wanted to be able to teleport down there faster, and that would increase my finding better and, you know, getting more kills faster. So, and I have 2 30 magic find Nagels here, so that's just adding more magic find. Obviously, I got a Viper Magi in the middle here. This 35 res one I actually found during the runs. I was using a 32 res one before, and then I found this perfect resistance one and decided to throw it on. Up here, I needed the 20 FCR amulet in order to not have to put a faster cast rate ring on where the Nagels are down here. So I decided to go with, I do have this as the only one that I had that I got this 20 FCR with Sorcerer skill on it. Unfortunately, this didn't get the 2 when I made it back in the day, but 17 strength is real nice on that. On Switch here, I do have CTA. I used it sometimes and sometimes I didn't because Andariel's so weak I didn't even really worry about it after a while. So if you get CTA, you could definitely use that to boost up that character. Take a look at the Mercenary. Semi important. You see the aura going on down here. I got an Infinity. That will increase the amount of damage that Firewall is doing quite a bit. So this is pretty important, not to mention 40% chance of crushing blow on that as well. Infinity, obviously an absolutely amazing rune word over here. I have the Ethereal E-Bugged Fortitude. Now you cannot make E-Bugged armor here on Diablo 2 Resurrected, so I hear. So you're not going to be able to get this much defense on your Fortitude because this is, like I said, my single player character. I did bring this over from regular Diablo 2, but making a Ethereal Fortitude is going to be the best option for your Act 2 Mercenary. Also up here we got Andariel's Visage, and I put a jewel in it to just eliminate almost all of that fire res. It also added a wee bit to strength and a couple little other things on there too. The other stuff really not that important. So you see that? Now we'll go ahead and I'll show you exactly what I was using this for. If you want to go CTA and buff up like this, there you go. But you can teleport all the way down to Andariel super fast with that mega cast rate. Here's my map, and the map is revealed. No, I'm not using map hack. I know it's going to come in like 1/4 of a second. You get the mercenary to target her so she stands still, and you put the firewall on, and boom, down she goes. And then boom, you get good items. There I get a Black Hades. Not necessarily the best item, but it's kind of cool to find on the video, I suppose. And that was on players 1 difficulty. Dropped super fast. If you have more people in here, it's going to be slightly slower. But you see how fast they drop on that one. We'll go ahead and save and exit and come back into the game. I'll show you one other location that is very frequently done with this type of character, and that's going to be Eldritch and Shank. They're going to be immune to cold. Sometimes immune to fire. It depends. It's a little more random, but so you go ahead and hit him. Down he goes. No problem. Shank's down here too. Shank is kind of neat because he gets completely stuck in the middle of the pile. Completely stuck and is donezo. We'll go ahead and run Pindle. This is going to be kind of on the fly. I have not ran Pindle with a Firewall Sorceress, but it should work fine, I'm pretty sure. And as suspected, it works okay. I keep missing there. That's my fault, but I kept missing. But yeah, works perfectly fine on Pindle as well. So this Firewall Sorceress is not to be slept on. It actually works amazing, and the reason it works so good on Andariel, she has a weakness to fire. Her fire res is lower than all the rest, so it is actually going to absolutely slaughter her. Make sure you check out one of these videos. YouTube thinks you're going to like it. Peace out, YouTube. Hopefully I catch you in the next video. Don't forget, hey, keep slaying.